The battlefield is silent. 10,000 demons lie dead, and still she does not stop. A goddess stands at the center of it all. Her skin black as the void before creation. Her eyes red as dying stars. Her tongue dripping with the blood of those foolish enough to stand against her. And her laughter. Her laughter is shaking the sky itself apart. The gods are trembling. Vishnu has stepped back. Brahma has looked away. And Shiva, the destroyer of worlds, the god who dances the universe into ash, has thrown himself beneath her feet just to make her stop. Who is this being? What could possibly be so powerful that even the greatest gods bow before it? They call her Kaali. And most people think they know her story. They don't. Understand Kaali, you have to go further back than the gods, further back than the cosmos, further back than time. The ancient Vedic texts speak of something they call Adya Shakti, the original power, not a goddess, not a deity in the way we understand deities. Something older, something that has no form, no name, no limit. A pure, wild, infinite consciousness that existed before Brahma dreamed the universe into being. Before Vishnu had a role to play. Before Shiva had a name to answer to. This is where Kaali lives. Not in temples, not in stories, in the space before all of that. The name Kaali itself comes from the Sanskrit root Kaila, which means time. But not time in the way we count it on clocks. Kaila is the force that devours all things. The force that makes mountains crumble and stars collapse. The force that takes kings and beggars alike and reduces them to the same dust. Kaali is not the goddess of death. She is the goddess of what time consumes. And what time consumes is everything. Illusion, ego, fear, attachment, and every small identity we mistake for our true self. To encounter Kaali is to encounter the truth of what you are. That is why she is terrifying. Not because she destroys, but because she reveals. But the cosmos needed her in a form it could see. And so she came. The Devi Mahatmyam, one of the most sacred texts of the goddess tradition, tells us the story of Raktabija, a demon whose power was a grotesque kind of genius. Every drop of his blood that touched the earth would instantly birth a new warrior, identical, fully armed, fully dangerous. The gods fought him with swords, with fire, with celestial weapons. Every wound only multiplied him. Every blow only fed him. He was not an enemy you could defeat through strength. He was an enemy who fed on the very act of fighting. The three worlds were drowning. And so, from the furious blazing brow of the goddess Durga, something tore itself free. It didn't emerge gently. It erupted, like a scream that had been held inside since the beginning of creation. A figure so dark, she made the night sky look pale. 4 arms, a garland of severed heads swaying at her throat. A tongue extended, dripping crimson. Eyes like the inside of a furnace. And across her face, not madness. Purpose. Kaali stepped onto the battlefield and did what no weapon had been able to do. She drank. With her enormous tongue, she swept across the field and consumed every drop of Raktabija's blood before it could touch the ground. She swallowed his army back into herself. She devoured the very source of his power. And when the last drop fell, when the demon finally crumbled, she stood alone in the silence of a world that had just been saved. This is the part of the story most retellings skip over. Because what happened next is not comfortable. It is not a clean, heroic ending. The blood hunger, or perhaps something more truthful, something closer to the ecstasy of a consciousness finally freed from all restraint, didn't leave her when the last demon fell. She began to dance. Not a gentle dance. A cosmic, violent, elemental dance that sent cracks splitting through the earth. Mountains shook. Oceans churned against the edges of the universe. The rhythm of her feet was threatening to unmake the fabric of reality itself. Brahma and Vishnu watched in paralyzed silence. No one could stop her. No one could reach her. And then Shiva moved. He didn't pick up a weapon. He didn't call her name. He walked quietly onto the battlefield and lay himself down, flat on his back, directly in the path of her dancing feet. Still, soft, completely surrendered, like a devotee, like a lover, like someone who understood something about her that no one else had thought to ask. The moment her foot came down on his chest, everything changed. Kaali looked down, and she saw him. She saw her own husband, Lord Shiva, the destroyer of worlds, lying beneath her like an offering. And in that single, suspended breath of recognition, the fury broke. Her tongue, extended in wild frenzy, curled back. Her eyes softened. She had returned to herself. This is the image you have seen 1,000 times. The dark goddess standing on the white body of Shiva, one foot raised, tongue out, garland swaying. Most people look at it and see chaos and destruction. The sages look at it and see something else entirely. Shakti recognizing Shiva. Power recognizing consciousness. The infinite wild force of the universe, pausing to remember what it loves. The tantric traditions are direct about this. Kaali is not meant to be feared. She's meant to be understood. And that understanding, they say, is the most transformative journey a human soul can undertake. Her black skin absorbs all colors, all of existence, back into itself. She is the great recycler of the cosmos, taking back what she gave. The severed heads she wears as a garland represent the 50 letters of the Sanskrit alphabet. Every sound, every word, every concept through which the human mind constructs reality. She wears human knowledge as jewelry. She is beyond what language can contain. The skull cup she holds, filled with blood. The tantric masters say the blood is the ego of her devotees, the small, frightened, grasping self that we protect so fiercely. She holds the cup. She catches the ego as it falls away. That is her mercy. To worship Kaali is to say, I surrender the self I think I am, so I can discover the self I actually am. That is why ordinary devotion trembles before her, and only the truly fearless dare to call her mother. And that is precisely what the great Saint Ramakrishna Paramahamsa called her. He wept before her image every single day. Not in fear, in love. In the way a child weeps when they have been away from home too long and finally see the door they recognize. He said she was the most tender presence he had ever encountered. He said the terror was a doorway, and those who walked through it found only warmth on the other side. The poet Ramprasad Sen wrote her songs through grief and longing, and she answered him. Not with power, not with spectacle, with presence. And so the untold story of Kaali is not a story about destruction at all. It is a story about what waits for you on the other side of your deepest fear. It is a story about a universe that loves you so completely, so ruthlessly, that it is willing to strip away everything false so you can finally, fully see what is real. She is a time. She devours what is temporary so the eternal can breathe. She is the void, the womb before creation and the silence after it. She is the mother. And she does not come for the wicked. She comes for the almost free. She comes for the soul that is one surrender away from liberation and needs one final darkness to understand what light truly means. She has always been here. She has always been waiting. This story moved something in you. Share it with one person who needs to hear it tonight. And if you want to go deeper into the stories that Hinduism kept hidden in plain sight, subscribe and hit the bell. Every single week, we bring you the myths that change the cosmos, told the way they were always meant to be told. The next story, the demon who made Shiva himself weep, and what that cost the universe. You won't want to miss it. Jai Ma Kaali.